If you're looking for a fun location to take some beautiful family photos this fall, the perfect spot could actually be hiding in your own backyard. Photographer Elisha Snow says this is the best time of year to scout the perfect setting for your next photo shoot. So I'm curious, is this about the right location or having the right eye to find the right location?
A little of both, but you know what? I think that a lot of times if I say to someone, okay, let's just go in your neighborhood and do photos, I think anyone would be like, wait, what? That's not a great spot. But so it is having kind of a good eye and seeing those places, those little nooks and crannies in your neighborhood.
Knowing what to look for.
Right, exactly, knowing what to look for. And so that's what we're going to go through today, is kind of looking for those things.
Well, I love that even as a professional photographer who's constantly on the lookout, you took your neighborhood in with new eyes. Were you surprised how many locations you found in your own backyard?
For sure, yeah, absolutely. And some of these pictures that I'll show you are in my own backyard, but I feel like I've like looked in every single corner of my neighborhood. So I actually went one neighborhood north of me and kind of looked in a whole new area, and we went on a little scavenger hunt and found some awesome locations.
Okay, let's dive in. First thing you say you should look for are colors and textures. Describe exactly what we're going for here.
Okay, so colors, I mean, that's pretty obvious.
Vibrant.
We're looking for, but not even necessarily vibrant. Like I found a spot, and you can see right here in this picture, I just drove by and there was this open area, and then when we got in a little bit closer to the bushes, I said, okay, let's just go over and stand in front of these bushes, and there were these beautiful red berries on the bushes. And they just kind of like made the picture more dynamic, and you can see the texture behind him. You know, here he is touching the berries, and it's just, there's this nice texture and color.
Texture in the leaves.
Texture in the leaves, right. So we're thinking like even gravel, fences, foliage, like you said, you know, bushes, rows of bushes, things like that. And then flower beds, you know, for color, anything like that.
So the color, though, I think these pictures prove can be a little more subtle, even sparse, like a few purple flowers or a few red berries. It doesn't have to be that bold, loud, big wall.
For sure. And I feel like even the way he was dressed was, you know, he had on his little suit and tie. And so I didn't want like that bold wall. I wanted a little more subtle. And I thought that like just a little pop of berries was perfect.
Oh, it's beautiful. Okay, next on your list, you say look for walls, look for fences. What's so great about that as a photo backdrop?
Walls and fences are everywhere, for sure.
I mean, let's be honest.
Everywhere. Yeah.
Let's start there.
Well, and I feel like when you go like maybe to the more eastern neighborhoods, there's these older, you know, houses with these cool textures and everything.
Yes.
When you go into these newer neighborhoods, like where I went, there's more like vinyl fences and things like that. And while I try to kind of stay away from like vinyl, we did still get some fun shots. He wanted to take a picture of him blowing a bubble. And so I'm like, okay, let's just find a plain vinyl fence, white vinyl fence, and go for it, you know? And so and it turned out great, because that really shone, and it was kind of a nice neutral backdrop.
Again, it puts the attention more on the subject, this cute little boy blowing this bubble, but when you can, you prefer kind of the more rustic, chippy, texturized
Yeah, for sure,
fences.
just to kind of add more texture, yeah.
All right, shapes. You want us to look for shapes, like what?
Okay, so like where we went, we were just driving by, and there was this huge like pipe left over from some construction project. So I'm like, okay, go on in there, you know.
There's your circle.
There's your circle right there, and then it made a really nice natural frame kind of around him. You can see that it just kind of creates this nice frame. And then we kind of did some different angles with it, where we could use kind of the texture within it, see like there, and it just kind of makes a nice, kind of gives it a fun look. So besides things like that, you can think tunnels, bridges, even overhanging trees or bushes, you know, that kind of create like a natural frame around your subject. That's what you're looking for.
I like that you describe it that way. When you say shapes, I go into like 9th grade geometry, and my eyes start to glaze over. But when you say look for a natural frame, like an actual living picture frame.
Right, and when I say shapes, that's what I mean. It's frames. You're looking to frame your subject.
I like that. You photographers always talk about the lines on a photo, right? And here you're specifying leading lines, so you're going to have to explain this one to me.
So when you stand someone in the middle of a road, or even in the middle of a sidewalk, you can see how the sidewalk goes into a point behind them. We call it a vanishing point, and that's, you know, you probably learned how to do that in, you know,
5th grade.
Yeah, 5th grade art, right?
Electrical poles that got smaller and smaller and smaller.
Exactly, and that's exactly what we're looking for, is those vanishing points where it leads your eye right to your subject. You can see where here, those fence lines right there lead right to him. Any lines that lead to your subject is what you want, and that's the way you position them too, is however those lines are moving, going, you want those to lead to your subject.
Water sources, so ponds or rivers, you say, make a natural backdrop.
Right, even man-made. We went, you know, like to Station Park and found, you know, the cute fountain there. But there's a little river running through our neighborhood that we love to go to, and it creates really cool reflections. You can focus on the reflection and get some really cool shots. And it's also great for kids, because you can just let them play and get some awesome candid shots. I can't take my kids to like by a waterway and not have them like throwing rocks in the water.
So just plan on it.
Just plan on it. Yeah, if you want some great candid shots, just go find a little be careful, don't let them get wet, but they're really fun.
Does the water offer any tricky problems when it comes to lighting, the reflection?
It can. If it's really bright, it can. But it also, if you can kind of position your subject right, it can also just create some beautiful light because it kind of reflects the light back into their face and just makes it really a nice, beautiful, soft light and color.
So use that water to your advantage.
Right, exactly.
Might take a little bit of a positioning.
Yeah, but not usually. It's not usually bright enough that it's like blowing them out or anything like that.
Okay, playground. Every neighborhood has a playground. You see that's a prime opportunity for great photos.
I love playgrounds. And we actually didn't do any playgrounds because of the way he was addressed. I'm like, you're not ruining that.
A little too formal.
Yeah, but I mean, that's another thing. Every time I go to a playground, I always take my camera with me, whether it's bright colors and shapes or more of like the fun playgrounds where it's like a pirate ship or something like that. Because there's always everything that we've already talked about. There's colors, shapes, walls, leading lines, textures, all that we've already talked about is right there in that playground, and you can get some awesome, fun shots.
Yeah, like you said, more casual, but I think it captures. I mean, look at this, kids in their element, right?
And I mean, there's a natural frame right there, just from a little playground.
And how many times have we talked about getting your kids to cooperate during photos? Don't have to twist their arm too hard.
You do not have to.
If you're at a playground, the trouble's going to be, slowing them down enough to get the shot.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, this last one surprised me because here we are talking about the textures, the fences, the lines, the shapes. You say you can throw all of that out the window and just look for a beautiful wide open space.
Exactly, and I love it. You have to be a little bit careful because it can be tricky with the light. If it's a bright sunny day, it's really hard to get them out. They're either squinting at the sun or else it's really bright behind them. So you can either work with the sun and create like a nice silhouette, put the sun behind them so that they become a silhouette, or we went out on a cloudy day and just took it with the mountains behind, and it turned out so pretty. So here it is. This was a cloudy day, and I was facing the east, obviously, with the mountains behind, and it just turned out beautiful. So just look for these wide open spaces, and I think it focuses on the subject more because you've got this beautiful backdrop.
Something about this little cute kid in the middle of this
a big, huge area,
expansive world it kind of puts their scale and their little stage in perspective.
Yeah,
I love it, Alicia. Great advice. Thank you so much. If people want to schedule a session with you or get more tips, how can we find
I just opened up some more family sessions for fall. We're almost full, but I just opened a few more so we can. EliciaSnow.com is my website, or I'm on Instagram at Alicia Snow Photography.
I just opened a few more equals. I was totally booked out, and the demand was so high, so jump on that.
It's true.
We'll link you over to Alicia's website from our website. Thanks again.